Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the Everything is Bad New Fangled Motion Picture Show.
Hello, one and all, and welcome to another episode of the Everything is Bad New Fangled Motion Picture Show. I am Niall.
And I'm Nolan.
And today we're going to be reviewing a movie in which Steve Buscemi plays an asshole.
Doesn't narrow it down now.
Well, it does when it's the newest movie where Steve Buscemi plays an asshole, in which we were talking about The Dead Don't Die. So we're gonna do a spoiler-free review. And there's a big thing to spoil right at the end of this movie.
Yeah.
And then we'll give you a spoiler warning and go more in depth into it after that, as is tradition. So, this movie is not getting real great reviews.
I think a lot of people just don't get it.
So, here's the thing.
Because I enjoyed it.
The storyline of this movie is sort of meandering. There's a couple things in the story that just don't go anywhere.
Yeah, that's my only problem with the movie, is that there is a subplot that doesn't get resolved.
Yeah.
And we can get into that
absolutely nowhere.
We can get into that in the spoiler-free part, but there's this whole subplot that, and I have a theory on what might have happened with that, but we'll get into that in the spoiler.
Yeah. That being said, this movie was really funny.
Yeah, I mean, the whole theater was laughing.
Yeah. It was just the most dry humor, though. So expect that going into it. Every joke is delivered just deadpan, as dry as you could imagine.
Yeah. And I liked the movie quite a bit.
Actually, there's two subplots that don't really go anywhere. I think about it. Anyway, but yeah, this movie was almost like the writer came up with a bunch of scenes that would be funny in the context of a zombie setting, and just sort of made it work. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, that could be it.
it definitely feels that way to me.
One thing I know that, like, I'd seen online people talking about, because like the cause of the zombie outbreak is somehow tied to the polar shifting because of fracking and all this stuff, and then like the moon and all this stuff. Well, if you ever watched the original Night of the Living Dead, the excuse was like solar flares reacting with the phase of the moon, and it was like weird stuff, like super pseudoscience. So it kind of like gets back to that. I mean, there's a lot in here that like references old zombie movies. And one thing that's interesting about this zombie movie, and it's part of the humor, is that
they know what they are.
They know what zombies are.
Yeah.
In every other zombie fiction, it's a world where zombie fiction doesn't exist.
Right, because typically speaking, except for Zombieland.
Right.
Because typically speaking, like, a zombie story doesn't work if people know what zombies are.
Yeah, but in this they do. So when they're presented with the empirical evidence of it being zombies, they're like, yeah, okay, it's zombies.
Yep.
They just sort of accept it.
But yeah, the story of this movie is not... It's real shallow, and it's just sort of a apparatus to deliver to you this dry humor. And, I mean, it's just, like, deadpan. I think there's one character in the whole movie that in any way has any sort of, like, just straight-faced scene.
Yeah, I guess.
Well,
I mean, there's more. I mean, yeah, but like no one is really behaving, except for like a few characters. But most of the characters aren't behaving the way you would expect people to behave in these situations. They're kind of just nonchalant about a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
and that's part of the humor of it. I saw some negative reviews that they didn't get that was the joke, clearly, because they were talking about how like, oh, all the characters feel like they're bored to be there, and like none of the actors' performances are real stiff, and that was
the point.
That was the point.
None of the acting was bad in this movie. I mean, just look at who's in this movie. You got Bill Murray, Adam Driver, Steve Buscemi, Danny Glover. Like there's a lot. Like the roster for this movie is stacked, and no one was bad in this movie.
Right.
I mean, I was there. I like any more Adam Driver is enough to get me to go to a movie. Everything that I've seen him in since he was in Star Wars, I've liked. So I'll keep showing up to Adam Driver movies for the foreseeable future. But on top of that, I mean,
Bill Murray,
yeah, Steve Buscemi. So it's this.
Yeah. So I mean, I guess
I think
you say that the movie's not for everyone, but I think a lot of people didn't know what they were getting into.
Yeah, it's
with the movie,
and it very much has an indie feel to it.
Yeah, and I liked the movie a lot.
Yeah.
I had a really good time watching it. Like I said, I have like one complaint is that's an unresolved subplot, but other than that, I have no problems with the movie. I enjoyed it, so I recommend seeing the movie.
Yeah, don't let all the people
let those
that
negative
didn't get the
Nancy's
joke.
get to you.
Oh yeah, Tilda Swinton.
Yeah,
man, Tilda Swinton was a weird character in this movie. Also, I'm not convinced she can close her mouth all the way. Oh, there's a picture of her with her mouth closed. But is she like, her mouth's always like just a little bit open? You notice that?
Yeah, maybe she has respiratory problems. She has to breathe through her mouth.
Maybe. Wait, gosh, she was a bizarre character in this movie. And yeah, we can get more into that sort of stuff in the spoiler, but yeah, I mean, this basically seemed like a bunch of actors who had worked with this director before and just kind of wanted to do something weird agreed to be in this movie. So
yep. Anyway, so I think it's about all we can really say, right?
I will say this, seeing this movie, I experienced something new that I'd never done before. I saw a movie in that particular screening room at the multiplex we went to.
The last screening room at the end of the hall that
I've never been
like a
in
quarter mile down the
never been
hallway.
in that room before. Yeah, it's a really long way down that hallway. But yeah, that was a new experience. Also, not a great sign for the movie.
It was the premiere, like not the premiere, the preview. Like it was the early screening before the actual release.
Yeah, you'd think that would have a bit more of a draw.
I don't know. They're also screening Men in Black that night.
Yeah,
early.
Yeah, that's true. But so anyway, so spoiler warning.
Yeah, spoiler warning.
So this movie has RZA in it. I think literally just to make a Wu-Tang Clan joke.
He's the UPS driver.
He's the UPS driver.
He pulls up this UPS truck, put the Wu-Tang Clan logo like in front of the UPS logo with a U after it. So it's like UPS, like WUPS.
Yeah, like it was really funny. And what's great about this movie is there's a couple of instances where like you're like, okay, the movie's sort of bizarre and wacky. But there's a couple, but like the sort of jokes they make are normally like very dry, serious, delivered jokes. But there's a couple times in there where something is just so bizarre and it's such a juxtaposition to the rest of the movie that it makes it that much funnier. And that was one of them.
One of the other ones was Tilda Swinton plays a coroner. And it cuts to her putting makeup on these two bodies.
It's like this extreme, like, pop art,
avant-garde
makeup
with like bright colors and it, like blues and greens and purples and stuff, and it's hilarious.
Yeah,
You're trying to like, and she's looking at this like cover of Vogue magazine or something, and she's like looking at that like back, like trying to like put it, and there's like a male and a female corpse there, and she's trying to put this makeup on them.
Yeah, it's just like this hard cut to this overhead shot of her in the morgue doing this, and it's just really funny. I thought it was really funny, but it really tickled you hard.
Yeah, I laughed pretty hard at that. So, as I was saying, the subplot that doesn't go anywhere.
The kids in the juvenile correction facility.
Yeah, so one of the subplots, it keeps cutting back to these kids in the juvenile correctional facility, and there's 2 girls and a boy. And they're friends. And it keeps cutting back, and like, the boy is hanging out with the girls, and the guards come in because he's not supposed to be. There's a girl section, a boy section. They keep taking him away, and his name is Geronimo. I don't think we. I guess we learned the names of the other ones, but they don't say that often. Anyway, so they're watching the zombie stuff going on out the windows, and then, like the zombies get into the prison, and so they hide from the zombies and escape and go out. And you see the next time you see them, they're like sneaking down the street, and one goes, I know a safe place we can hide, and they like run off screen, and that's the last you see of them. And it's like, what happened? This unresolved thing. So my theory is, though, that they may have gone to some place to hide out and got killed by the zombies, but they're children, and that didn't test well. So they cut that out, but they couldn't cut the whole plot line because the movie's only an hour and 40 minutes or hour and 45 minutes.
Yeah.
And if they cut them out, it would be short. It would be too short to be a feature because there's quite a lot of footage of them otherwise.
Yeah.
And so they're like, they either didn't have like the time or budget to shoot a different ending for them, where they're like, well, we'll cut it and maybe no one will notice.
Yeah.
That's just a theory.
So the other plot line that doesn't really go anywhere is with Selena Gomez's character and her friends. Like they're like driving into town. You're like, oh, what's gonna happen with them?
Well, it does. They get killed.
I mean, yeah, they get killed. Like they die off screen. Like,
and then Adam Driver comes along and cuts their heads off, and he holds up Selena Gomez's head.
Yeah, like it's just.
But you find out what happens.
I mean, yeah, you find out what happens to him, but it was something that was like just completely inconsequential to the plot, really.
Yeah.
So. And that's the kind of stuff that people have been complaining about with this movie. Also, the fact that it was Plan 9 from outer space, apparently.
Yeah, so Tilda Swinton turns out as an alien, and at the end, she like leaves. This flying saucer comes and picks her up and takes her away.
And the aliens were somehow responsible for the zombie outbreak.
Yeah, so
it wasn't
the fracking. It was just the Plan 9 from outer space.
It was Plan 9 from outer space. So the energy department was telling the truth.
Yeah,
the whole time.
Yep. Plans 1 through 7 didn't work, or 1 through 8. I mean.
Yeah. Yeah.
One of them involved giant spiders.
Also, they broke the fourth wall a couple times in the movie.
Yeah, that was funny. So there's
always Adam Driver.
Yeah, there's this running gag that the song written by
Sturgill Simpson.
Sturgill Simpson, who's an actual songwriter and singer.
And he's in the movie.
He wrote the song for the movie, and the song's called The Dead Don't Die. And it's a real like twangy country western song.
It sounds exactly like every country song by a male star from the 90s.
Like if you weren't paying attention to the lyrics, it would just
you would think it was like George Strait in the background or something.
Yeah, but it's a song about zombies.
Right.
But there's this running gag, like everyone's like comes when they hear the song, keeps coming on the radio or they run into CDs or whatever, and everyone's like, "Oh, Sturgill Simpson, The Dead Don't Die. I love this song."
Yeah. Right at the beginning of the movie, Bill Murray and Adam Driver driving along in their squad car, and the song comes on the radio, and Bill Murray's like, "Why is this song so familiar?" And Adam Driver goes, "Because it's the theme song." And it was just like that was that first like real dry delivery of such a like out there wacky joke.
Yeah, the one other time he breaks the walls, because throughout the movie, Adam Driver keeps saying this isn't going to end well, and finally Bill Murray snaps at him. He's like, how do you know? Why do you keep saying this? Well, it's in the script. And he's like, you got a whole script? I just got the scenes. I just got my scenes.
Yeah. Like everything I did for Jim, which is more than you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a pretty funny way of handling that, but yeah, I mean this movie's just really weird, man. But I really enjoyed it.
I did too. I liked it quite a bit.
Highly recommend you check it out.
It's more comedy than zombie.
Yeah. And so
in fact, most of the zombie stuff is not that gory or there's a little bit of blood, but not a whole lot. When they kill the zombies, there's like this black dust that comes out of them.
Yeah, well, it's like it's supposed to be like all these. It's supposed to be making this like commentary on modern society or something, and then the black dust is supposed to represent their like soulless existence or whatever.
Yeah, because all the zombies,
it was a pretty,
they're zombies, but they're also, before they were dead, they were zombies because they were obsessed with like their phones and commercialism and
yeah, it was a pretty ham-fisted attempt at social commentary.
Yeah.
But that's only like right at the very end of the movie. So
one thing I thought was kind of funny, Steve Buscemi is wearing this hat that says "Make America White Again," but he's not actually racist.
Keep America white again, I think is what it said.
Keep America white again? Something like that. Anyway, but he's not actually racist, as far as I can tell. Like the one time...
He's an asshole.
He's an asshole, but like the one time he says something that could be construed as racist, people like look at him sideways and he realizes what he says and he kind of apologizes for it. And he like corrects him. He's like, I didn't mean it that way. I mean it like... so it's like, is he even really racist? It's just...
Yeah, I think they're just trying to make him out to be just a generic asshole.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's The Dead Don't Die.
What was the other... I like that one scene, like, what do you think did it? A wild animal? Several wild animals?
Oh yeah.
And everyone keeps seeing the bodies.
It's like, God, what did it? An animal? Several wild animals?
That's what I said.
So, our next review is going to be for MIB International. So, check that out. And then our next movie review after that's going to be
Shaft.
There you go. And then coming up after that, next week we've got Toy Story 4. Then after that, Yesterday. And then after that's going to be Spider-Man Far From Home. And then Stuber, which we might have that posted a little early. Lion King, which I think is going to be a good movie because it's going to be a shot-for-shot remake of a great movie.
I'm curious if Elton John is involved in the music. I haven't even looked.
Yeah, I haven't either. Then the month we end the month with Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, which looks pretty funny. We saw a new trailer for that last night when we saw Men in Black. There was some new jokes in it that I hadn't seen in the previous trailers. There was one of there that really tickled me about the manslaughter.
Oh yeah,
it's like my fists are registered
Bruce
weapons.
Lee saying, "My fists are registered weapons. If I kill you by accident, I'll go to jail."
Yeah, if you kill anyone in a fight, you'll go to jail. It's called manslaughter. Um, yeah, that movie. I'm pretty excited for that movie. What's after? We start running out of the summer movie season after that, right? Oh, we got Hobbs and Shaw. Oh man, Nolan, Dora the Explorer movie.
Okay.
You know, your favorite.
I've never watched Dora the Explorer.
Yeah, neither have I. Anyways, yes, that's what we got coming up. If any of that sounds of interest to you, hit that alert button to be notified when our next movie review goes up. Also, check out our other reviews. We see a lot of movies, and we review pretty much all of them, unless it's a Riff Tracks event.
Yeah.
So
We're on. This will be our 98th.
98th.
Mhm.
Man, we cannot let our 100th one be Toy Story 4. I'll have to see what I can do about that this week. But yeah, so that's what we got coming up. Yeah, so until next time,
Bye.
thanks for listening. Toodles.